Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to many of us. Welcome to Marketing Monday. CXO TV continues its mission to share the knowledge with Marketing Monday, a chat series that began in 2020 and has completed 150 episodes featuring industry top marketers. So today at CXO TV Marketing Monday, we have Shantanu Chakraborthy, Senior Director Marketing for Cencentrix India, Southeast Asia, ANZ. Welcome, Shantanu. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me on this particular show. I am really happy and doing good.
Pleasure is ours. So let's, straight dive into the discussion, Shantanu. So in 2023, we have witnessed the rise of Gen AI, and which includes personalized messaging, personalized advertising, AI-powered chatbot, predictive analytics, and more. Consequently, the role of CMO has also evolved. So before we delve into your role as Senior Director Marketing, let's understand a little bit about your journey as a marketing professional.
Great. I started off many years back as a journalist, to be honest. Was not a marketing profile. I was into journalism, part of a very large Indian conglomerate, media conglomerate. And then there was a certain point in time that I started kind of developing interest in brands. And because I was writing extensively on brands. And that kind of shifted my focus, and I got into the brand management side of that particular organization. Kind of spent a little bit of time, and then I thought that brand management is one little aspect of the entire marketing universe. So therefore, after a point in time, I decided to get into more of marketing. And I changed my industry as well at that point in time. I kind of went into something which was more in the services sector, and started working with a couple of other companies in the services sector, looking after the complete gamut of marketing. There came a point in time in 2007 when I started feeling that I've had enough and that I've learned everything, and now I need to become the superhero, and I quit my job and started my own agency. The agency, unfortunately, the timing was not really good because the first recession happened. Just about 1.5 years me into running the agency. I brought in some very, very big brands into India at that point in time, but then the pockets and the payment cycles I could not sustain the agency for a while. After a point in time, moved out. The ego had become a little bigger than anything, and so what had happened is that I was not in a position to go back and ask people for jobs, because I just left telling the world that I've become this big shot guy who can run his own agency. So therefore, picked up a job that came my way. That was, again, a very challenging thing in the sense that I had to join a law firm, corporate law firm, and where there is no space for marketing, but I still kind of did some work. And then I, after a point in time, came back to services industry, and it has been almost about 13 years that I've been with the services industry, looking after various aspects of marketing.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Pivoting from journalism down to marketing, and so thanks a lot, for the walkthrough. As a senior director marketing, at Cencentrix, I'm sure you must be focusing on across the globe. So can you just talk about the main or the current focus you have in Southeast Asia, ANZ, India, and the emerging market?
So great. The mandate, by the way, so many companies that I work with, so many industries that I work with in sales, marketing function and stuff like that, the mandate never changed. The mandate was to get business, right? Mm-hmm. So that continues to be the driver till date. I would not say that we've kind of, my role has dramatically changed, but yeah, the challenges of the times that keep coming up kind of make us do things in a very different way. But the end objective or the outcome that we are driving at any given point in time is to get more and more business, right? Mm-hmm. So if we were to talk about the outcome, it has not changed much in terms of output and input. Things have definitely changed. So today we are looking to a great extent towards generative AI. We are looking at account-based. When I talk about account-based marketing, I'm talking about marketing qualified accounts and not about marketing qualified leads. A significant part of my life was spent on looking after or going after marketing qualified leads. But in the last 1.5 years, we started looking at marketing qualified accounts. So we brought the lead bit, right? So a lot of intent-based lead generation things have come in.
Yes.
That was not there earlier because of data and everything that we are getting. I see a lot of change in the way messaging is happening. And I'm talking about B2B at this point in time, but which in the last 2 years, what I've seen is that there is a layering of B2C that has started happening. So now you cannot be cut and dry. So there has to be an element of emotions coming into play, right, in the content that you generate. Then deep engagements with customers. Earlier also it was, but I think it has become a little more important. Even the fact that trust is playing a very, very critical role in today's time and date, when the market is going through a certain kind of certain era in terms of how tough it is. Then and the last would be generative AI. I think that's playing a very, very big role in kind of defining how we are looking at stuff, and it is bringing its own challenges and also great opportunities.
Absolutely. I think you rightly pointed out. I think the most critical job of the marketer is to establish trust and position itself. I think as a reliable partner to its customer, and that's what you guys are doing. So, what are the key benefits of adopting a data-driven approach in sales and marketing, and how can it impact an organization's bottom line?
So very clearly, the data approach, as I said, I will probably go into marketing qualified accounts. Let me start by that, right? So what has happened is that in any cycle, in a B2B cycle, what we realized is that it is not just one person who's taking the decision on our client side or prospects. There are at times a group of almost 10 people are taking shots, right? So what data has really done is that it has made, so what it has done is that it has moved us from a qualified lead to a qualified account. A qualified account typically means, you provide a complete picture of sales-ready accounts. So that is where the insights that data is bringing to us is becoming very, very important. And therefore, what happens is that the fundamental difference that I'm seeing here is that when it was marketing qualified lead, the sales guy had to do a lot of digging.
Yeah.
And in the process, he was actually, there were instances where they were annoying this one lead that we got them because they were constantly bombarding him with a lot of, calls and other way of connect and all of that stuff, right? But he was just one of the guy. And all of a sudden we realized that even the sales guy would come back and say he's not responsive anymore. So what we started doing is that looking at the entire ecosystem, what it has done is that we've been chasing a couple of folks in the entire organization in a way and manner which is very data rich. And we are kind of now going to sales and saying that this particular account looks to be ready for a conversation because so many people are interacting with our content. Seems that there is a need, dire need in this organization in a certain time frame. So that is what data is doing for us, and that has really, really upped our game. Second important thing that is happening is that even our creativity. We are doing a lot of data churning, a lot of data analytics to see what's working with whom. That was not possible earlier. And so they were all like these blind flyers we were sending out. But it has become so focused now that it is kind of helping us quite a bit, right? And if you layer it with, intent-based lead generation that I keep talking about, right? So we get to know who is active on our buying cycle. So what data is telling us today, that it is not just about clicks on social media advertisements. It is about multiple people from a company visiting your website, regular and continued visit to your website, increase time spent on your website, and if there are newsletters and stuff like that, what kind of subscriptions are coming. So all of this with 7-8 people from an organization doing similar kind of activity, we are actually landing up a much richer contact to our sales folks, and that's working for us.
Absolutely. I think, once you have your website and once you have the data points down there, so you gain a lot of insight around the visitor behavior or the customer behavior. Thanks, Shantanu. So can you also tell me a little bit about the particular innovation or the success in performance campaign your team has recently executed? What matrix made the campaign successful?
So Again, I don't know if it will be too innovative, because I think by and large, many companies are doing that. But I would want to kind of focus on the point that this precision targeting that we've started doing in accounts is one big differentiator. Second is that the fact that we have kind of made our content look very different. So what has happened is that we have brought in this entire element of, as I said, how are we reaching out? And I was making this particular point to you just a while back, that it's like a B2C kind of a content model that we're looking at now. Right? So our content is more conversational. Our content is vocabulary rich. And when I say vocabulary rich, I use it in a very different way. So we stay away from using words like innovation, transformation, this and that. I believe none of us understand really what it typically means, because everybody is using it, right? So we kind of avoid jargons in the way we are talking. We sound very natural. It's very conversational, as I said, right? Not overtly casual, but very conversational. Mm-hmm. And very important thing that data has helped us do, and I think that is a big differentiator, and that is something that I don't see many companies doing, is because a lot of people reach out to me on LinkedIn as well, right? You accept their invite, and the next thing that happens is that the automated mail that comes to you in your box, which has got like 20 things written, and they're selling. So what has happened is that it is always about them. So what data has helped us do is that become more outside.
Yeah.
So now kind of, keeping the audience at the center of our conversation and personalization. So that has really helped. Personalization at scale is very difficult. So let me not lay claim that we have been successful in doing it, but to a great extent, we have been able to understand the intent and therefore give a content that is slightly more personalized.
Absolutely. I agree.
Working for us.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think the personalized and the targeted marketing campaigns really needs a higher conversion rate and improved customer satisfaction. It also help us in improving.
Sorry, I would also add two things that I completely forgot. Business influencers. Humanizing the content, right? So the point is that it is not only about automated content and AI-driven content, but we are also humanizing it. So there is extensive use of business influencers. Mm-hmm. There is a double down on thought leadership content that is happening. So the model of events that one is looking at is not basically going and participating in a third-party event, but actually curating your own event with partners and kind of doing it with a very select. Again, the idea is to be very targeted and not spray and pray. So that is happening. And last but not least is utilizing trending platforms. So no more is a particular platform the only way to go. So today, for us, it's not so much in India, but in Southeast Asia and Australia, New Zealand, and those kind of places, TikTok has become big, right? Meta stories have become big. YouTube Shorts have become big. So our content is now constantly changing, and it's not typical those old long format white papers of 8 pages and stuff like that. We have got an attention span which is less than a goldfish. So 8 pages of content, doesn't really work very well anymore.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think you rightly pointed out. So what are your thoughts about the recent shift from account-based marketing to ABX, which is account-based experience? And how do you think this change will impact your marketing strategy? And how does ABX align with Cencentrix overall marketing goals in the tech?
So again, it has kind of helped us quite a bit. Again, I'll use a term which is like people by people. When we were kind of doing account-based marketing, as I said, the content, while we were kind of doing enough and more in terms of marketing, but I always felt that we were dealing with databases, right? But when we moved into a account-based, this entire experience bit, then what has happened is that we've kind of acknowledged at the first level that people buy people, and therefore our analytics, our technology, our creativity have all come together in a way and manner that we are able to kind of, see through this entire end-to-end journey of the prospect. And therefore the conversions, again, these are early days. Our conversion, our sales cycles are pretty long and elaborate. So I would not say that there massive things have happened, This is something that we've embraced from 2023, 22 onwards. But we have started seeing better outcomes coming out of our engagement with the prospect, because we're carrying the prospect through the entire process. They don't want to be sold to be honest. They want you to understand their problem, and they kind of take them through the entire process to a level where they start believing, yeah, this is the best thing that possibly can be done, right? So it has helped us be very analytic focused, but at the same time, now our approach to sales has become more research based, more consultative, and more value driven.
Wow, that sounds good. So, tell me a little bit about what are your biggest marketing challenge at this point in time?
The biggest marketing challenge at this point in time is, generative AI is a very positive thing, but it is also the biggest challenge. Same is the case with technology. Like the rate of change in the expectation of organizations, of people everywhere is much higher than the rate of change in terms of adoption, effective use of it, right? So it stays to be the most challenging. While there are a lot of tools, a lot of platforms, everything is there, but we are all struggling, is what I believe, in the entire marketing fraternity, to really kind of ride a galloping horse, right? That's the state that we are in. So as I said, technology is probably the biggest gain that we have in our lives, but at this point in time, it is also the biggest challenge, because the effective use of it is very, very important, and you're not getting enough and more people. Second important thing, slightly divergent from how people look at it, is that generative AI, again, has a positive, just like technology that I spoke about, and it is also part of technology. It has a positive, but also what one needs to be very careful is that people are blatantly using it. So what is happening is that someday there will be sameness in your kind of content that you're generating.
Absolutely.
Right. And we are already trying to kind of position, all the companies are trying to position themselves as somebody different. But when you use people who do not understand generative AI very well and use it in marketing purposes, they'll probably be creating copies which are very similar, right? So we need to get people who can use that very well. So that is another challenge that I see in marketing in the next 6 months, but I'm sure people are learning it, and therefore there will be a time when, more people will come who have their ingenuity using generative AI, doing much better. Right now, many people are not using their ingenuity, and therefore they're kind of writing similar kind of copies, which at times becomes very difficult,
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think what we need is not generative AI, but the creative AI.
Yes, absolutely.
So as we know, like we are there in Q1. So what advice would you like to share with the other marketing leaders for the remaining 3 quarters?
So while there are many, 2 things that I've realized that is coming through very clearly is that it is not enough to kind of show people long-term gains. If you really want somebody to make a decision, purchase decision, you have to have short-term productivity gains also shown to the client. Most of us, when we talk, I mean to say my marketing fraternity, have been talking about long-term gains, especially in the B2B category, and that's not going to help. So they have to do something to actually also give them short-term productivity while talking about long-term gains. So that is something that one has to look at. So if you're only relying on long-term gains in this kind of a market where there's so much of uncertainty, you may not be able to close it deal. Second important thing is that customer loyalty is the biggest asset to companies during this time. So they must, so apart from you going and trying to get business from the market, apart from you trying to get base growth through the clients you already have, you should also look at collaborative growth, which is basically look at, you've got a lot of partners. We're all working with a lot of partners. How do you leverage the partner network to build meaningful relationships with their potential clients as well and kind of benefit out of it? So for me, these will be the biggest stakes apart from, use of technology and other things.
Thanks a lot, Shantanu. With this, we come to the end. I think, we need to get ready to embrace personalization, the power of video, harness the potential of AI, relationship with micro-influencer, as what you said, and champion sustainability also, because I think sustainability will going to be a key differentiator in 2024. Apart from that, I think, the future, what I feel is for the marketing in 2024 look to be pretty exciting for all of us. Thanks a lot, Shantanu, for such an insightful session, and we really had a pleasure.
I have one last point. Can I add that?
Sure.
Perfect. Another thing that I feel which a lot of people are not doing is that they're expecting things out of AI, but they are not asking themselves as to what they do for AI, right? So therefore, I would also suggest people to kind of, piggyback on this new thing, internet, which typically means that you need to create a lot of content, right? Lot of content, authoritative content, get lot of media mentions, quality backlinks, use platforms and all of that, so that AI starts throwing you up in many of the searches that are happening, because that will become an alternate to Google someday. And that day, if you're doing up well, you will really do well.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Thank you so very much. So thanks, Shantanu. Thanks a lot for the insight. I really had a great pleasure interacting with you, and I'm looking forward for more similar interactions. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.